This tutorial will take you through the New Hampshire State Council on the Arts Fiscal Year 2024 Arts for Community Engagement Grant application at submittable.com. This tutorial assumes that you have created a free account at submittable.com and that you're logged into the system. So as we start, the first section is applicant data. And so here we're going to want to know all about your organization. If you are applying for this grant with a fiscal agent, you will provide information about that entity in Section 2. So the first thing that we want to know is the official IRS name. And then if you are applying with a fiscal agent, you'll check the box. And then we want all the information that you would expect that we would want. Email address, snail mail address, phone, website URL, Creative Ground profile URL, the authorized official's name and title and email address. And then we want you to choose an arts discipline for the primary area of the applicant organization's work. And we have to report this information to the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies. And so it's absolutely required that you fill out this section. There's a lot to choose from, and if you have questions about it, please contact the administrator of this grant program. If your organization is an arts organization, you have to verify that you have at least 1 year of arts programming. So we check that box. Next, we need your organization's unique entity identifier. This is a relatively new requirement from the federal government, and you cannot apply without a UEI. So if you don't yet have a UEI, you need to get one, and you can visit sam.gov, the federal website, to do that. We also have some instructions about this transition on our website, and there's a link here that you can click. If your organization is a nonprofit, we'll need the year that it was founded, incorporated in the state, whether you have a letter of good standing from the Attorney General, should we ask you for it, a certificate of good standing from the Secretary of State, should we ask for it, the year that you were granted your IRS exemption, and whether you have your IRS determination letter, should we ask for it. We want to know how many full-time and part-time staff you have, how many volunteers, and then we want a fiscal summary. So the first thing we want is the dates of your current fiscal year, and then we want to see 3 years worth of total income, your past fiscal year, the present fiscal year, and projecting to the next fiscal year. Same thing with expenses. Section 2 is where you would put the fiscal agent information, and this is pretty much the exact same information we were asking for in Section 1. So I'm not going to go through it. Just going to scroll down. Section 3 is the grant request information. We want to know whether this is a new or recurring project, how much you are asking for, and then we want you to do, in 25 words or less, give us a project title or a summary. This should be very clearly stated. Tell us what your project's about. We want to know when the project starts and ends, if there are event dates related to it, what those are, who the primary contact or project coordinator is, if it's different from the contact person that you filled out earlier. We want to know their email address. And now we're asking for a code, an arts discipline code again, but this now is specific to the project. And so you will choose your code for the project. We want to know how many towns or communities are going to benefit, how many youth under 18 and adults will be engaged in the project through live arts experiences. So anything you're doing that's remote or recorded, you don't count those people. Now we are looking for some demographic information. So we're looking for information based on age, ethnicity, distinct groups. We want to know how many artists are directly involved and how many of them are New Hampshire artists. Section 4 is about accessibility and facilities information. So we want to know the name of the facility where the project activities will occur, the name of your ADA coordinator. We want to know whether the facility is accessible to people with disabilities, if accessibility is part of your long-range plan, if you've done an ADA self-evaluation, and then we want you to upload the National Endowment for the Arts Brief Accessibility Checklist. And so you can download the checklist here. There's a link here. It's also in the guidelines. And then what you're going to do is fill it out, save it on your computer, and then you'll click Choose File. A little window will open from which you can navigate to where you have saved the file. You will click on the file and you will attach it to the application. Very simple. We want to know if you have established policies and procedures that address non-discrimination against people with disabilities. And we want to know whether that's publicly posted. We want to know whether you own the facility in which the activities will occur. If you don't, we need the name of the owner, the address, and the length and expiration date of the lease. Now we come to section 5, and this is where you're going to upload all of the required documents for the application. And so as I said above, this is a very simple process, works just like attaching a photograph or a file to an email or uploading a photograph to Instagram. You're going to click Choose File, little window will open on your computer, navigate to where you have saved all of the documents ahead of time, and choose the correct document to attach. So you'll first attach your narrative questions, and these questions are usually at the end of the guidelines. You'll attach your budget form. And I do want to say here that we really prefer that all of the documents that you upload be in PDF format. And that is so we don't inadvertently edit a Word document or the Excel budget form. So try to turn these documents into PDFs before you upload them. And I will say about the budget form that there is a short video on the grant page about how to turn that Excel form into a PDF. And you should watch it because it's not as simple as you think it is. It's pretty easy, but it's not the way most people would save a PDF. So we want the budget form, we want your timeline and work plan for the project, a list of your board or advisory committee, a board-approved financial statement, and again, this is nonprofit applicants only, and so if you're a school or a municipal agency, we don't require that. Again, we prefer PDFs. We want a one-page project director resume or biography. Any outside contractor information should be uploaded at letter G. We want at least 3 letters of support, and they should be current and refer directly to the project. Any evaluations, assessments, and rubrics you're using to evaluate the success of your project and impact. Any program materials. And now when we're getting into these upload areas where multiple files can be attached, we strongly suggest that you zip them up. And there are instructions at these links on how to do that. We want the artist worksheet and resume and work samples. Ideally, you would be linking to the artist's work samples in your narrative through a portfolio website or their Creative Ground profile, but you can upload a wide variety of files here. And again, we'd like to see them zipped. Finally, we get to the certifications and assurances. The first is COVID-19. The next is that you will credit us and the National Endowment for the Arts. Any contractor assurances here. And finally, your certification. This is your electronic signature. And so you'll click the Agree button and then type in your name and your title, and then you'll click Submit Form. Now, if you've done everything correctly, the system will accept your form and you'll get a little message on the screen. But if the system does not accept your form, chances are it's because you didn't fill out a required field. All of the fields that have asterisks next to them are required. Finally, There is a Save Draft button down here. The submittable system is very stable, but we do recommend that every 5 or 10 minutes you save your work. Scroll down and click Save Draft. So that is the Arts for Community Engagement application at submittable.com. I hope this has been helpful, and we look forward to seeing your applications.